Hello everyone. Today I am going to start the first lesson of your science syllabus, that is chemical reactions and equations. I start this lesson with one very beautiful quote given by Thomas Alva Edison. The quote stated as, "I believe that the science of chemistry alone almost proves the existence of an intelligent creator." So in this lesson and the lessons ahead, we are going to understand what made Thomas Alva Edison to propose this quote. I start this lesson with very basic concept, that is chemical reactions. So under this heading, we are going to study what happens when two or more elements react together. We know that there are so many chemical reactions occurring in our nature. Some of the chemical reactions directly affects us and some chemical reactions indirectly. So these chemical reactions are very important, and we can see some of the chemical reactions in our nature itself. For example, cooking of food, burning of fuel, rusting of iron, turning of milk into curd. So all these are examples for chemical reactions. Not only these, but also there are so many biological processes like respiration, digestion, excretion, photosynthesis. All these are also examples for chemical reactions. So chemical reactions are integral part of our life. So it is very important to study the meaning of chemical reactions. So chemical reactions are the processes in which new substances are formed with some new properties. So I have given definition here. The chemical reactions are the processes in which new substances with new properties are formed from one or more substances. This is what the meaning of chemical reactions. Now, how we can say that chemical reaction has taken place, or how we can identify chemical reaction? Remember, chemical reactions involve the following changes. Whenever the chemical reaction occur, we can find these factors. So I have listed out here the characteristics of chemical reaction. Whenever the chemical reaction occur, either there is change in color, or change in state, or change in temperature, or there may be evolution of gas. So if you observe these factors, then we can say that chemical reaction has taken place. Let's perform one simple experiment, that is burning of magnesium strip. Here we have taken forceps or pair of tongs, magnesium ribbon, watch glass and Bunsen burner. Magnesium ribbon, before we burn, we have to clean its surface. Why? Because magnesium, it readily reacts with atmospheric oxygen and develops a thick layer of magnesium oxide on it. In order to remove that layer, we have to clean the surface of magnesium ribbon by using sandpaper. So now we have taken cleaned magnesium ribbon here, and we are going to burn that magnesium ribbon. How? Let's see. So this is pair of tongs, watch glass, magnesium, and this is Bunsen burner. So with the help of tongs, we burn this magnesium ribbon. We use this tong to hold magnesium ribbon. See, now we are burning this magnesium ribbon. You can observe magnesium ribbon burns with dazzling white flame. Okay, so after burning, what is left over in the watch glass? it is a white color powder or ash, which is nothing but magnesium oxide. So burning of magnesium ribbon, it is a chemical change in which magnesium burns in presence of oxygen and produce a new product, that is magnesium oxide. So here you can say that there is a change in color and state of original substance, because I have taken magnesium ribbon which turned into powder or ash of magnesium oxide, and there is slight change in color of magnesium ribbon after burning. So this experiment shows that the burning of magnesium strip, it is a chemical change where we can observe change in state and change in color of original substance. Let's see one more experiment of zinc granules with concentrated hydrochloric acid. So for this experiment we need conical flask, zinc granules and dilute hydrochloric acid. So instead of dilute hydrochloric acid, we can also use diluted sulfuric acid. So this reaction we carried out, this experiment we do to test the rise in temperature and evolution of gas during chemical reaction. So let's see this experiment. So here these are zinc granules and this reagent bottle is filled with dilute hydrochloric acid. Now that hydrochloric acid is added to zinc granules. You can observe the rise in temperature of the conical flask. If you touch the external part of the conical flask, you can feel it is very hot. So that shows that during this reaction the temperature is increasing. There is a change in temperature. Meanwhile, you can observe the bubbles on the surface of zinc granules. So during this reaction, the temperature of the conical flask increases. Change in temperature is one of the observation to determine a chemical reaction. And also you can see the evolution of hydrogen gas. Now let's understand how to write chemical reactions using chemical equations. If I ask an ordinary person, he may say that the magnesium burnt in presence of oxygen and form magnesium oxide. But we are science students. We have to learn so many chemical reactions. So it is not easy for us to give the chemical reactions in the form of sentences. So we need some shorthand representation to show chemical reactions. So in chemistry we mainly use two ways to write chemical equations. First one is word equation and the second one is symbol equation. So let's we learn these two ways to write chemical equation one by one. So the first one is word equation. In word equation, we are writing the names of the elements and the names of the compound. For example, here I have written the word magnesium plus oxygen gives magnesium oxide. So whenever we write equations using words, such equations are called as word equations. So in word equation, you can see there are two parts or there are two sides. One is here this side, that is left hand side, and this is right hand side of the equation. So on left hand side of the equation we are writing reactants, and on the right hand side of the equation we are writing products. So reactants are the substances which involved in the reaction and products are the substances which are formed during reaction. And these reactants and products are separated by one arrow mark. So arrow mark I have given here. So this arrow mark is pointing towards product, which shows that the reaction proceed from reactant to product. The reaction is going from reactant side to product side. So this is about word equation. Let's move on to the next type of equation, that is chemical equation, or it is also called symbol equation. So here the words of the word equations are completely substituted by symbols. So now we have to recall the concepts of 9th standard syllabus. So we have studied that we have represented the elements by using symbols. We have learned the symbols of elements. So while writing chemical equations, we are writing symbols of the elements and chemical formulas of the compound. So the words of word equations are completely substituted by symbols. And such equations what we call chemical equation. Let's learn how to balance chemical equation. Before that, we have to recall the concept of 9th standard. So we have learned that how to count the number of atoms in a molecule. If I say one oxygen molecule, that is O2. This O2, it is made up of 2 atoms of oxygen. But if I say 2 Mg, 2 magnesium, then there are 2 molecules of magnesium. So we use this concept to balance chemical equation. Now, it is very important that the number of atoms of each element must be equal on both the sides of equation. If the number of atoms on both sides of the equations are equal, then only the mass of reactants is equal to the mass of product. Here if you see, I have written one equation. Mg plus O2 gives MgO. So in this equation, you can count there is only one magnesium atom and 2 oxygen atoms at the reactant side. And at the product side, there is only one magnesium atom and only one oxygen atom. You can see here oxygen atoms number are not equal on reactant and product side. So such equation where the number of atoms are not equal on both the sides are called as skeletal equation. So in this reaction here, in this equation, we can see the number of atoms are not equal. Hence, the mass of reactants is not equal to the mass of product. So, what is the need? Why it is so important to balance chemical equation? Again, the answer lies in your 9th standard chemistry. So, in 9th standard, we have studied one very important law, that is law of conservation of mass. This law states as mass can neither be created nor destroyed during chemical reaction. So that is nothing but mass of reactants is equal to mass of products. When it is possible? Only when the number of atoms of each element are equal on both the sides of equation. So this law of conservation of mass made it is very important to balance chemical equations. So we are balancing chemical equation to fulfill the law of conservation of mass. Now we will be learning to balance these equations. The first equation which we are going to see is magnesium plus oxygen gives magnesium oxide. The most simple way to balance this chemical equation is by using hit and trial method, in which first we are drawing boxes around the molecular formula, and we are not going to change anything inside these box. Then we should draw a table which comprises 3 columns. First column is for elements, second column for number of atoms in reactants, and the third column is for number of atoms in product. So let's balance this equation. For this, now we have to write the number of atoms of each element on both the sides. So on the left hand side, we have the number of magnesium atom is 1 and the number of oxygen atom is 2. On the right hand side, that is at the product side, we see number of magnesium atom is 1 and of oxygen is also 1. Now we start balancing this equation with the atom having maximum number of atoms. So let's do it. The number of magnesium atoms are 1 on both the sides. And of oxygen, we can see the number of oxygen, there are 2 atoms on left hand side, and on RHS there is only 1 oxygen atom. So we will balance this equation by multiplying 2 on product side. So in order to equalize number of oxygen atom, we have to multiply this number, the number of oxygen atom on the product side, by 2. So we will putting 2 in front of magnesium oxide. Now we have number of magnesium atoms on right hand side is 2. Oxygen is also 2. You can see oxygen is balanced as the number of atoms are same, that is 2. We can see there are 2 atoms of magnesium on right hand side. So we are going to multiply 2 on left hand side so as to balance magnesium on both the sides. Then we put 2 in front of magnesium at the reactant side. Now you can see, children, the number of atoms of each element are become equal on both the sides of equation. Here 2 magnesium atoms, here also 2 magnesium atoms. Here there are 2 oxygen atoms, at product side also there are 2 oxygen atoms. Hence the equation is balanced. So the final balanced equation is 2 Mg plus O2 gives 2 magnesium oxide, 2 MgO. Now we will take another example for balancing, that is Fe plus H2O gives Fe3O4 plus H2. So the first step is drawing boxes around each formula, and we are not going to change anything inside the box. The next step is drawing the table of 3 columns. First column is for elements, second column for number of atoms of reactants, and the third column is for number of atoms of product. Now we will count the number of atoms of each element on both the sides of equation. So we start with left hand side, that is from reactant side. So at reactant side we can see there is only 1 iron atom, and there are 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. And at the product side there are 3 iron atoms, there are 2 hydrogen atoms, and there are 4 oxygen atoms. And we have to start balancing the equation from atom which is having maximum number of atoms. So here you can see the oxygen atom is maximum, that is 4 at the product side or at the RHS. There are 4 oxygen atoms at the product side, and there are only 1 oxygen atom at the reactant side. So in order to equalize the number of oxygen atom, we have to multiply the number of oxygen atoms at the reactant side by 4. Then we are adding 4 atoms, number 4 in front of water molecule H2. So now we can see the number of hydrogen atoms becomes 8. So 2 into 4, that is equal to 8. Since we have changed the number of hydrogen atoms here, the number of hydrogen atom will be changed at the product side as well. If we see the number of iron atoms, there are 3 iron atoms at the product side, and there is only one iron atom at the reactant side. To equalize the number, we have to multiply the number of atoms of iron at the reactant side by 3. So the number of iron atoms are also now equalized. So we write 3, we put 3 in front of iron. So we have changed the number of oxygen atom by multiplying with 4. Meanwhile, the number of hydrogen atom is also changed. So here there are totally 8 atoms of hydrogen are there. So in order to equalize the number, we have to multiply this hydrogen atom by 4. So we are writing 4 in front of this H2. So now if you count, the number of atoms of each elements are equal on both the sides of equation. Hence the reaction equation is balanced, and this is what the balanced chemical equation. Now we take another example. We are following the same steps. First we are counting the number of atoms of each element on both the sides. So here I have listed the number of atoms of each element: Zn, H, S and O. Zinc at reactant side only 1 is there, then hydrogen 2, sulfur 1 and oxygen 4. At product side, 1 Zn, hydrogen, oxygen 4, sulfur 1 and hydrogen, there are 2 hydrogen atoms. So if you see the number of atoms of each element, all these elements are equal: 1 1, 2 2, 1 1 and 4 4. Since the number of atoms of all elements are equal, this reaction is balanced one. So this is balanced chemical equation. No need to balance this equation. In order to make chemical reactions more informative, we have to mention these criteria, like the states of reactants and products. So if the reactants or products are in gaseous state, we have to write the small g in bracket. Similarly, if any of the element or compound is in liquid state, then we have to mention L. If any substance which involved in the reaction is in aqueous state, means it is present in the solution of water, then we have to write AQ. And if the substances involved in reaction are in solid state, we have to mention it by using small s. So these physical states we are mentioning while writing chemical equation. By doing so, we are making reaction more informative. Sometime we are mentioning the required necessary conditions for the reaction, like temperature, pressure, etc., and also the catalyst used for reaction. See, these conditions or catalysts, they do not take part in chemical reactions, but they definitely enhance the rate of chemical reaction. So it is also important to mention the temperature, pressure or the catalyst used in any particular reaction. Let's see an example of photosynthesis, in which carbon dioxide in aqueous form reacts with water which is in liquid state in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, which are the conditions which gives the product glucose, which is again in aqueous state, and also oxygen, which is in gaseous form. So you can say that we can make the equation more informative by putting reaction conditions above and below the arrow mark, and also we can mention physical states. So we are done with balancing of chemical equation, and we have also understood by writing physical state and the conditions required for the reaction, we can make equation more informative. So let's recall some important points we have discussed in this video. So the first thing, never ever change the molecular formula while balancing chemical equation. Then start balancing the equation with the element having maximum number of atoms. Then multiply the number of molecules with the number of atoms available so as to get total number of atoms present in elements or compounds. Then add the number of atoms of particular element if it is present in two or more compound. Now you can see on the product side, if I take this reaction, now you can see on the product side there are 3 hydrogen atoms. One of sodium hydroxide and 2 of hydrogen. So we have to calculate all the 3 hydrogen atoms when we are seeing or balancing equation. So the total number of hydrogen atom at the product side is here 3. This ends the first segment on chemical reaction and equation. In the next video, you will learn about different types of chemical reactions. Meanwhile, I advise you to practice balancing of chemical equations which will be given in the worksheet. Thank you.